Rock on, rock on, rock on. We're live. I have this thing with LinkedIn. I'm trying to go live on LinkedIn. I'm live on YouTube and I'm live on Facebook. And look, guys, they came. I got my copies. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Have you gotten it yet? Have you gotten your copy yet? Let me know. Hey, if you're coming on, put a comment down so I know who you are. And also, go there, StreamYard.com/Facebook. It's a great program that I'm using to interface with Facebook, and it allows me to stream at a higher rate, and I can bring guests on, which I haven't done. But by doing so, which you can register, I can see you guys. I can see who the commenters are, and actually engage with you rather than just saying Facebook user or YouTube user. Yeah, so sweet. We hit #1, Amazon, which was sweet. The first night we launched, which was really great. And then, yeah, so we're rolling. We're rolling. And I wanted to come on for our Thrive Thursday and continue on as I normally do, all these great years later. How many years ago? It's got to be 6 years. Did I start this 6 years ago? Pretty crazy to think about that. And I wanted to share something with you guys, which I think is important about goals. I'm writing up the course curriculum for, there's going to be an online course for the Art of Survival Guide. And a large portion of that is goal setting, right? It's the mindset of goal setting. And I run into it so often about started projects and unfinished projects. And it's a huge barrier that people, for some reason, are not able to overcome. By the way, if you haven't gotten the book, you can go there, jamesbarber.com/ASG, and grab it. It's a huge, huge problem. Mike, Marilyn, Eric, how are you, man? Cassie, Aaron, nice to see you. The idea of starting a project and not finishing it is a common thread, right? It's something that I've run into. I continue to run into. I can't tell you how many people I know who sit on unfinished projects. And having a plan, an actionable plan for your project is really super important. I'll give you an example, a real life example from doing a Broadway show. Okay. I'm hopeful again that Broadway is going to come back sooner than later. Look, the reality is all about finances. I talk about this a lot. As much as we wanted to come back, they're not going to be opening until they're financially stable. They're not going to be opening until they are able to run in a fiduciarily, whatever, profitable way. So, but I'm going to give you an example with a Broadway show. There's a lot of work that goes into even before it begins rehearsal, right? There's the idea, coming up with the idea, okay, we're going to create a Broadway show based on what? It has to come from somewhere. West Side Story, based on Romeo and Juliet. Okay, good, great idea. We're going to do a musical, contemporary musical, based on Romeo and Juliet. Okay, start rolling. And so now you're in a situation where you have to write the script, write the music. So somebody's got to do all that, write the lyrics. And if you don't have daily milestones, you're not going to get there. You may get there, but it's going to take you a while, right? So all the work goes into creating it. Let's say we're going to start rehearsal. Script is done. All the money's raised for the show. Now, mind you, this is a ton of stuff, right? That I haven't even talked about that we can get into. We're going to go starting rehearsal. Millions of dollars have raised, cast hired, casting directors hired, publicity people hired, all of the marketing and PR things worked out for the most part, because once you start rehearsal, they're already marketing the show even before you start rehearsal. As soon as people are cast, they're marketing the show. All of these things have to go in place. Where are you going to put the show on? That deal has to be made with a theater. How long are you going to run? When are you going to open, right? See all the planning that goes into place. The crew, where are you going to build the set? How's the set going to be built, right? All of this stuff goes in even before you start rehearsal. So let's just start rehearsal, okay? Well, we're going to take it from that point. Normally a Broadway show is 6 weeks of rehearsal. You show up, you have the script, and you start. Now, it's not just willy-nilly. There's a schedule that is put together depending upon how the director wants to work or the choreographer wants to work. And you're showing up and you're working on scenes from the script, from the play, from the musical, every single day. 1 day off a week. Every day. And it's broken down. That is a schedule, right? So that you can get to somewhat of a finished product by the end of your 6 weeks of rehearsal. Because at the end of 6 weeks, you're going in the theater. Whether you like it or not, you're in the theater. And then you start technical rehearsals. Now, mind you, there's a date that is set for opening night. Everything is working up toward that opening night. And a schedule is made and plans are made so that you can get to that point. If there was no plan, there was no schedule, how would that be? Right? How would you actually attain the goal? You could, but you got so many moving parts. How many actors in a show? If it's a musical, how many orchestra members? What about the charts for the music? What about making changes during the rehearsal? Blocking the show. So the reason I use this is because if you step away and you look at that and go, oh yeah, well, I get that. You can actually start applying that same technique to your life and the goals that you have, right? I have a book that I use. It's a pretty cool book, right? Weekly battle plans, right? This whole thing, sorry, I just hit my mic, right? This whole thing is filled, right? I make my day and I plan it out. And so you can use whatever you want. You don't have to use, a pre-made journal. I just do it because I have them. You can do this. One of my daughters gave me this for Christmas. Isn't that cool? I love old school journals, right? I have a ton of them, right? I've shown you guys like this one so many times, right? This. What did I write down? I wrote down a great quote the other day. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? We don't need to teach people. We need to remind them. There was a great quote that I wrote down. I'm going to see if I can find it. Maybe I put it over here. Did I put it over here? Oh. When you see light, go toward it, right? Aspiration, inspiration, information. It was from the live stream that I did for Tim Story's launch of his new book, right? So where's your goal? What is your goal? And how do you get there, right? There's so many details that as you start to write it down, you may go, oh, wow, I forgot about that. Oh, wow, I forgot about that. Oh, wow, I forgot about that. It's like when I was writing this book, this is only 90 pages, right? It's not a big book. There's a ton of information in it. This is a ton. This is like a 200-page book slammed into 90 pages, right? And honestly, I could have made it 200 pages. Two things I thought of. Speed of getting it out. I wanted people to be able to get it. It took me a year to get it out, right? 90 pages. Now, could I have gotten out faster? Yeah, I could have. I dragged my feet because I was doing other things. But also, and more importantly, I didn't want to throw so much information in here that people wouldn't do anything with it. How many times, and you guys comment in here for me, how many times have you gone into a project or started working on something and there was so much information you got overwhelmed? There's if that has happened to you, put it in the comments. There's a great restaurant in LA called Jerry's Deli. And for those of you who have been to Jerry's Deli, you'll understand this. Years ago, used to go into Jerry's Deli, and the menu, I'm not kidding you, was like 1.5 feet tall, maybe 2 feet tall. It was huge, right? Huge, and like this big. And all the writing was like tiny. Hundreds of things on the menu. And we used to joke that once you figured out what you liked at Jerry's Deli, that's all you got. Because it's like reading through all of the choices that you have, you just get overwhelmed. So I didn't want to do that in the book. I wanted to make it actionable because people don't take action. Why don't they take action? They don't take action because they get confused. They don't take action because they get stuck. Why do they get stuck? Because there's no plan. If I were to say to you every day, I'll give you an example. Thrive Thursdays. Every Thursday when I was doing Phantom, every Thursday as I walked back from the theater toward where my transportation was to go home, I did a live stream every single time. You guys knew who were following me at that point. Boom, Thrive Thursdays coming. Thrive Thursdays every night, consistency, right? And then it dropped off because I got into all this other stuff that I was doing. And I'm trying to do it again. I'm trying to get back to the consistency of it. I haven't chosen a time again because it's like, wow, what if I set a time and I can't be there? Then I'm letting you guys down who are waiting for that time slot. However, it is vitally important. It's in the book, consistency in your message, right? So having something that you're doing on a consistent basis and paring away all of the other choices that are around you. Okay, I'm going to do this one thing right now. When I'm editing, like I'm editing a lot of videos, we're doing this really cool thing with the Got Dreams platform, which I don't know if you guys can find it. If you go to gotdreamscommunity.com, I think you can get joined for it. I don't think it's up yet. But we're interviewing now people in the business world, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, all that kind of stuff. And there's so much information there, right? So much information. However, I'm editing all the videos, right? And so I have to take all of that information and I have to parse it out, right? So if I do an interview that's an hour and a half, I have to break it down and make it actionable. But here's the key. When I'm editing, I don't pick up the phone unless it is something that I'm expecting or it's an emergency. Rarely is there an emergency because I'm focused on doing what I'm doing, right? I don't pick up the phone to do something else. I start and I finish what I'm doing. And then I move to the next thing on my list. What's the next thing? And I have it broken down. There's daily and weekly tasks. And then at the end, we talked about this in the Thriving Artist Group. At the end, I keep track how many things did I accomplish, right? And I work toward the next day doing more, doing a little more, doing a little more, doing a little more. So I'm always increasing. But unless you actually have something in writing in front of you, it's sometimes hard to take actionable steps toward getting to where you want to go. Goal setting is huge. New week, new goals. We're heading into a weekend. Tomorrow's Friday. Then we're into a weekend. Then Monday. Okay? My week usually ends on Thursday and starts again. That's just how I work it. But what I do is I battle plan it out. I literally, a battle plan. What is a battle plan? I'm going into battle, okay? I'm going to have to attack this, defend here, do all this. So I know what's happening in my battle, my weekly attack on my goals to make them happen. And I write them down. And the reason I want to increase is because I want to be able to expand and do more. I want to be able to get to a point where I have so much going on that I need to bring people in. Does this make sense? I hope it makes sense. So I want you guys to be really forward moving in your goals and actually write them down, right? We've talked about this many times. And they don't have to be like, I'm going to start a new business goal. They could be like, hey, like my daughter's got this Etsy jewelry business, right? Awesome thing. I'm going to tell you, dudes, she banked some money off of this thing. She's 12. She's put money in the bank from an Etsy business at 12 years old. She's an amazing entrepreneur, right? And so, You could do that. You could be like, hey, you know what? I just want to do paintings. You don't even have to sell them. I just want to finish that. I want to finish this great painting, or I want to finish a freaking crossword puzzle that I started, right? But having a goal and taking steps to do it so you can complete it. And I guarantee you, when you complete it, you'll be like, whoa, man, that felt good. I did that. I did that. I did that, right? I did it. Crazy thing is I've been writing books for many, many, many years, but they're not these. They're fiction books. I've been writing fiction books. I've never completed them. I have like 4 or 5 fiction books that I've never completed. And this thing just pushed me so much that I feel that the information inside is really needed, even right now. I think it's Carnegie Hall's open to 150 people. Is that what it is in New York? It's not going to be profitable. It's not going to be profitable. Unless you charge $1,000 a ticket, $500, $600, $700 a ticket, it's not going to be profitable. How could it be profitable? And yeah, I get doing stuff for charity. I really do. But there comes a point where you can no longer do that. I talked about it early on during COVID. You know, all the actors that I know, these amazing artists, started doing benefit concerts to help support all of these other businesses that were failing, right? Which is a great thing. But I also had the realization that unless we start creating something for ourselves and the artists themselves to generate income, they're going to run out of money. And that's what happened, right? Government subsidies will happen, but eventually they'll run out. We can't live on that forever. You have to look at a way to be able to sustain yourself monetarily. And wouldn't it be great if you could do it with what you love? I don't know if this is backwards or not. Let me see if I can see it on Facebook. I'm going to hold it up. I'm delayed on Facebook. Maybe I am. I don't know. Is this backwards when you guys see it on Facebook, or is it right side up? Anyway, I get passionate about this because it's super important to me that you guys, thanks, Mike, that you guys push toward your dreams and your goals. Because what are you going to do? 60 years old. Like, I'm going to be 55 in April. 55. I'm like, there are goals that I have not reached. There are things that I wanted to do that I didn't attain. There's certainly goals that I achieved and have gone far beyond. But I don't want to be sitting and looking back and going, man, what if? What if? Just because I didn't take action. All right? See what Mike says. Writing my goals down will help me map out my performance for the show I'm in. That's great. Of course. Cassie says, taking consistent action I have found builds self-confidence. When I don't take action on the things I say I'm going to do, the less I trust myself and hence less confidence. So yes, action is key. Action creates traction. Eric, yeah, bro, but here's the thing. You don't look 50, man. Are we having lunch tomorrow, buddy? I don't know. Let me know. It writes it up. Hey, Pat. There's my amazing cousin. How are you, my dear, dear cousin? Send my love to everybody. Thank you, Lorraine. Happy early birthday. Yeah. You know, still got to get through March. I don't think I look 55. Certainly my wife doesn't look 55. Holy cow. Holy cow, man. Holy cow. Doesn't look 55 at all. Just turned 55 February 25th. Here's the crazy thing. My dad's birthday and Dana's birthday, exact same day. Different years, of course. But both born on February 25th. Pretty cool. My hair's getting big. What do you guys think? Beard's getting big. Hair, beard, hair. Crazy thing is when I wear the mask, you can't even see it. Like I'm gonna do like eyeliner and eye makeup to look mysterious. Yeah. So anyway, guys, I really want to hit that hard. I want you guys to look at your goals. She's like 20. I know, man. It's crazy. Well, she eats so healthily, and she's in the gym every day. Let's see. Cassie just wrote down Grant Cardone's quote: "Success is easier than failure. Don't make sense of failure." I love it. I know it's true. The work it takes to fail is harder than it is to create success. Here, that's a great point. right? Thanks, Mike. It's a great point. What effort do you put in to focusing on failure? I'll give you a little example. So my kids play volleyball, right? And it's a competitive sport. And I didn't realize it, right? Like I played volleyball, but I didn't play like competitive volleyball. I remember I used to work out at Gold's Gym in Venice, and Gabby Reese would work out there. So we'd work out, but I didn't, play volleyball with her. One of the, greatest female volleyball players of all time. And tons of people at Gold's Gym in Venice, famous, right? But it's a very, very competitive sport. And so these are kids, right? They go anywhere from 9 all the way up to 18, right? And a lot of these really prominent young athletes are getting scholarships to go to college, right? And it's amazing because I'm 6'4", and I walk around and there are 18-year-old girls who are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" that are playing volleyball. Unbelievable athletes. So the reason I say that is because specifically when you're playing sports at an early age, and I remember it for myself, if I played baseball or even tennis, I played a lot of tennis and I played competitive baseball and even some football. If there was a mistake, I used to internalize it, be like, oh, it's me. And then I would get stuck in my head, right? And that would affect me for the next play or the next volley or my next at bat. And so getting out of your head, why spend the time focusing on the negative aspects of it when it doesn't exist anymore? Does that make sense? That moment of failure is gone. It's gone. It doesn't exist. It's all gone. Gone. Sure. Was there an experience there? Yeah. Did you learn something from it? Maybe. It's up to you. But if you take that, like for example, if I was serving in tennis, right? And I threw the ball up and I hit and I was out of the box. I was out of the service box. Okay, crap, right? Double faulted. What did I do? I think, okay, did I change my feet? Did I do this, right? Go back to the foundation of, I know what my goal is. You're going to hit obstacles. Guys, have I hit obstacles in my life? Yeah. Did I go like this? Yeah. Did I want to be there? Absolutely not. But I had to take stock of what was around me. And I had to look and say, let's go. I need to keep pushing. And my goal wasn't to be on Broadway or back on Broadway. It was to make sure that my family had everything that they needed. That was my goal, to provide for my family. And anything that I needed to do to get that done in an ethical way, I was going to do. That's my responsibility, right? That's what drove me. Now, I need to be on Broadway. I need to do this. I just knew that I had a skill set, and that skill set lent itself to that. So I was focusing on making that happen, but I was doing all these other things behind the scenes, right? But I kept my goal. So when you hit those obstacles, like Cassie was saying, is like you hit a failure. Okay, now what? You get a flat tire. What are you going to do? Leave your car on the side of the road and walk away? You just have this car. Oh, it's my car. It's my transportation. Okay, flat tire. Okay, I'm done. I'm just going to walk from now on. No, you get it fixed. You fix the flat tire. You put the spare on. You fix it and you keep moving. But you have an actionable step on how to do that. Tire goes flat. You don't know how to fix a tire, change a tire, call AAA. They'll come and do it for you. You're taking a step. Or you get out the jack, you read the thing on the jack, it's right there, put the jack under this thing, jack it up, make sure it's stable, unscrew the tire, take it off, put the new spare on, screw it on, put the flat in the back of your trunk, lower down the jack, take it out, stick it in the trunk, close the trunk, drive home the next day, take your tire to get fixed. There are steps that take you to where you want to go, right? And the obstacles are always going to be there. A lot of them you put there yourself. Look, the first chapter of this book. How many of you guys have gotten this book? 99 cents, guys. It's still there. We can't change the price yet. Drive me crazy. 99 cents for the ebook, right? This is the first part. You will fail. You'll never make it. It's too hard. You'll be a waiter your entire life. You'll give up. Make sure you have something to fall back on. Get a real job. You don't want to be another starting artist. Have you heard any of these phrases? even if you're not an artist, has anyone told you that you'd never make it by going for the dream? Have you heard anybody say, "Oh my gosh, you want to be a physicist? You want to be an accountant? I don't know. You want to be a teacher? I don't know." People doubt. These are the frequent mutterings of those around us, advising us on what they think will be the outcome of pursuing our dreams. They are even the internal thoughts and doubts that creep into our own minds. They are the words we sometimes tell ourselves. You got to stop, right? Take them. If the words come in, write them down, push them. Write them in, push them, right? Use them as fodder. Use them as fuel to keep going. Grant Cardone, man, he would not be there, if he gave up. Let's see. Aaron, I'm going to read some of these. Aaron says, I'm going back. I've been working on some self-tapes the past couple of days. One of the local regional theaters, they're having open call for the summer rep season. I'm going for it. Awesome, Aaron. What are the shows? Aaron says, I live my life by the mantra of be something, don't be nothing, and be the best version of you that you can be. That's amazing. My cousin Pat says, doing well. Tell all hi too. Great. Sending hugs and love. Take care. Oh, thank you, Pat. Eric says, me too. I played ice hockey. So when you invert playing ice hockey, you get hurt. Yeah, man. Could you imagine? Like, I talk about that in the book. I talk about it in terms of the NFL, right, or NBA. Like, you have to have a skill set. If you want to be a professional artist, you have to have a skill set to sustain. And if you don't, it'd be like going into the NFL and going, yeah, I can kind of play football. You will get crushed. And if you're not present, you're going to get crushed, right? People who get injured, people who get sick all the time, there's something around them. Like, do you know people that are constantly sick? They get better, then they get ill. Or they constantly get some sort of injury or something constantly is happening to them. It's usually because there's something around them distracting their attention, making them think, maybe I shouldn't. Which does what? If you're distracted, you're driving, right? There's a car wreck, God forbid. Everybody does what? They rubberneck. They slow down. It happened. I was driving this weekend. I was driving across the state where we are. Whole thing slowed down. Cars almost crashing again because they weren't present. They were looking at something else. They were looking at a distraction instead of where they needed to go. The reality is there are people that are taking care of that accident, right? They were already there. There were police cars there and, ambulance. But what are you doing? You're being distracted from your goal on something that has nothing to do with you. And it takes you away from doing what you're doing and could potentially cause another accident, right? So for me, I try to stay focused. I'm always around there to help if anybody needs something. But yeah, I mean, if you start to introvert, you're not present. If you're not present, you're not going to see the hockey player coming up to check you into the board and freaking break your shoulder, right? You're not going to see it. You're going to get creamed. Mike says, my voice teacher always hits on the part of the song that I nail first. And then it helps me brush up on areas where I can improve. It's so helpful. That's great. You take a win, right? Where are you successful? Look at that and go, okay, look, there's something I'm working on right now. And it's always like, if you get confused, go back to the point where you were last not confused, right? Go back to that point, find out why you were confused, and then continue on. Don't continue on. Like, if you're reading, and you're reading, you get it, and all of a sudden you start to dope off. You go, right? Don't continue on. Go back to where you were, because there's something in there that you didn't understand. There's something that you missed, right? Take the win of where you were and then move forward. But find out where the win was, right? Aaron says, likewise, you can be anything you want if you put your mind to it. Absolutely. What were you saying about, we had the conversation about Olympia Dukakis. Yeah. Olympia Dukakis' mother told her that she would never make it in acting. She pushed that aside. Yeah, I mean, iconic actress, right? Powerful actress. Aaron says, I don't know the exact season, but I'm led to believe it's Taming of the Shrew, Pride and Prejudice, and The Jungle Book. They haven't officially finally announced the shows in the season, but I'm certain the Shakespeare will be part of it. Yeah, absolutely, Timmy. The shirt's great. It's such a great piece, and it's really interesting. It's timely now, because everybody thinks it's sort of like a, like a Petruchio being this sort of like dominant male. But what ends up really, what you find out is that Kate runs the house, right? It's almost like she's manipulating him in a good, like, really, you think you have power over me? Fine. It's an interesting thing. Cassie, I'll never forget when you asked me, whose life are you living? Yeah. So Cassie was part of a program that I did years ago called the Hidden Artist Program. And then she and Aaron were part of my Thriving Artist group. So that was huge. Is it my life or someone else's view of who they think I should be? We need to be the captain of our lives. I can think of nothing worse than getting to the end of our lives and realizing we didn't design or create our life in the way in which we desire. I fully believe we were created to create. I do too. Look, why are we here? Why are you here? What are you doing with this lifetime? My spiritual views are pretty, I like them, and what are you going to do with this? How are you going to make an effect on the world? What aesthetic wavelength are you going to push out to change the dynamic of the world? Do you ever notice, like, there's a great thing about Matthew McConaughey. There was some joke about him potentially running for the governor of Texas. And I was reading, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And he's like apolitical, doesn't really talk about politics. But he said something that was interesting. He goes, I really think everything can be resolved if we just communicate. And I was like, yeah. Could you imagine if the Democrats actually talked to the Republicans and the Republicans actually talked to the Democrats? Like literally talked and said, wait a minute, wait, what's going on here? There's probably one or two people in there that are causing all the problems and like making it, causing all the rifts. But the reality is, no matter what political spectrum you're on, no matter what country you live in, I've said this before, I wake up and I want my kids to do well. See you, buddy. I want my kids to do well. That was for Eric. Somebody in Malaysia wants their kids to do well. We want to get along. I don't want a bomb dropped on my home. Do you think people in the Middle East want rockets dropped on their homes? Of course not. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about that. It's crazy to think about war. I mean, we've got to defend ourselves. Okay, well, what if they didn't attack? What if we were just all cool with everybody? And communication is a true, it's a true solvent, right? It's a true solvent. I really believe that. And if you communicate well and you find a common ground and look to resolve problems, be a part of the solution, look for solutions rather than causing problems. Yeah, but, yeah, but, How about this? I see this and this and this. Oh, okay. Can you explain to me why you see it that way so I can understand? Well, this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, this point. There may be a point in there that you never thought of. You're like, oh, wow. You know what? Never thought about that. I can see your viewpoint. I actually can see your viewpoint. I don't have to agree with your viewpoint. But being able to see it gives you understanding. Literally, and it's something we do in acting. The idea of I'm on stage, but I have to see what the audience is seeing. I have to put myself in their place so that I can understand the blocking. Yeah, I'm relying on the director and the choreographer and all the people that are, doing the show, the producers. But I also have to put myself in an objective place so that I can truly understand what it is that I'm doing on the stage. And you can do that. Just think, just put yourself, how does it look on the stage? Can you see yourself moving like that? So in a conversation, you can actually put yourself in the position of the person you're speaking with. Understand what they're truly understand. Try to understand what they're saying. And again, you may not agree with it at all, but you can understand it. And that understanding will take you from this to, oh, I see. I now understand why you see it that way, right? Instead of, absolutely not. Again, you don't have to agree with it at all. But understanding the viewpoint may even give you a chance to go, hey, look, I get that. Here's my viewpoint. And this is why I feel the way I do and I think the way I do on this one topic. And here's the points, and here's the points, and here's the points. Yeah, well, I see that, but I don't see this. Okay, well, let's talk about that. And then you're creating a dialogue. Common ground. Common ground. Battles and war and craziness. Common ground. I want my family to live. I want my family to live. Common ground. Yeah, are there going to be some crazies out there? Yeah. Are we going to be talking about wars? Hopefully not. You know? But you can use the same techniques with other things. Misunderstandings. Trying to get a point across. Listen first. And also help first. Right? I don't come at something and say, what can you give me? I try my best to go, how can I help you? What do you want? Nothing. I want to help you. What do you want from me? Nothing. Because I truly like to help. Right? So come at life that way rather than asking for things. So I think that's my Thrive Thursday for this week. Set your goals. Have a battle plan. Write them down because you're not going to get them done in as fast a manner as if you had an actionable step to get there. And when those voices come in and those internal thoughts come in, figure out, okay, am I going to spend the time focusing on those as a disconnect by that? Or am I going to look at the next thing on my list and go, okay, good, I'm keeping going, keeping on. Make sense? Hope it does. Grateful for you guys. I am going to end our Thrive Thursday for this week of March. Crazy. It's been a year since COVID hit, or since the lockdown. It's probably been around a lot longer than that. Who knows? But crazy. And we're still here, guys. We're still pushing forward, and we're still making music. We're creating in spite of all the perceived stops. So don't let those obstacles stop you. Make sure you thrive. Have a great, great weekend. I'm going to have a crazy busy weekend. And I'll probably be back on around maybe Sunday or Monday. All right, guys. Hey, go grab a copy of the book if you haven't done so. You can even buy a gift. It's 99 cents. You can buy it on Amazon and gift it to somebody. Just go to jamesbarber.com/ASG. Okay. All right, guys. Have a wonderful week. Share the stream for me, will you? Share it to anybody you think would like it, and we'll see you soon. Take care.